Hello, welcome back to Foos Entertainment. And just give me a second. I don't like the angle. A little bit up. Yeah, that's better. So welcome to Foos Entertainment. You know, every single year I do 62 days of scary movie reviews. And something that has always eluded me is why we do not have the old classics being reviewed. And please forgive me, I want a little bit closer. Yeah, ought to do it. Yeah, there we are. Nice. And well, I think the old classics are very, very important because all these scary movie icons that we know, Freddy, Jason, Michael, Pinhead, so on, wouldn't exist without the brilliance of the original icons. And the original icons of the 1930s and 40s and 50s. So, the first few days of September, I have been really busy watching these classics. I will be wrapping them up very soon. So let's talk about the first one. Now it'd be 1931's Dracula. This is the exclusive steelbook from a few years ago. Very cool artwork on this. You can't get this anymore. And let's talk about the film. The original Dracula came out in 1931. It was one of the first major Universal Studios motion pictures around the early days of cinema. The film stars Bela Lugosi, who I might add on Broadway in New York City and around the world was very well known for playing the play version of Bram Stoker's Gothic icon, Dracula. And, well, they hired him to play him in this movie. Now, of course, back in the day, movies were a little bit different. They were always shorter. So this film is just a little over an hour long, so it's not really all that long of a film. And they did not rate movies back then, so there is no rating on this movie. And these films were always in black and white, and by today's standards, it definitely looks a little different on a modern cinema. But still, overly satisfying in terms of giving you a big screen experience like no other. At least in my opinion. Alright, well, the plot of the movie. Well, we will go ahead and just read it back because that's a lot easier for me. The original Dracula, starring Bela Lugosi, launched the Hollywood horror gene and defined the iconic look and frightening character of the famed vampire. Towering immensely amongst the shadows of the Carpathian Mountains, probably somewhere in Romania, Castle Dracula strikes fear in the hearts of the Transylvanian villages below. After a native real estate agent stumbles to the will of Count Dracula, the two head to London, where the vampire sleeps in the coffin by day and searches for potential victims by night. The inspiration for hundreds of subsequent remakes and adaptations, this classic film, directed by Todd Browning, is the signature adaptation of Bram Stoker's story with its eerie passion, shadowy atmosphere, and thrilling cinematography. Yeah, that about sums it up. This is, now, interesting enough. The original 31 movie is taken from the play Dracula, and not the book Dracula. I know because in my high school days, I was a stage actor, and I did take on the role of Professor Van Helsing in a play version of Dracula. So I was lead man in a good play back in high school. Because Dracula, although the main character is not the lead man is actually Van Helsing. Okay, well, quality. Talk about video first. The film was shot in 1.33.1 full frame because widescreen did not exist back in 1930s. Everything was in one frame back then. It wasn't until either the very late 40s, possibly in Europe. In Europe, actually, 1950s, Creature from the Black Lagoon might have been one of the first widescreen films. But I believe the first widescreen film in CinemaScope, which is 2.35, which was what was known as back then, was Cleopatra. But the first official widescreen film, I think, was somewhere in the early 50s. Till then, films were 1.33.1 full frame, which means they have a big square in the middle of the screen on modern technology. It doesn't fill the entire television or projector screen. But it doesn't take away from the experience. Lets you kind of have that nostalgic feel of the days of old when you watch it that way. Now, this has been completely digitally restored in high definition. Now, before I go on, I am aware that the 4K equivalent of some of these films, not all of them, but some of them, comes out next month. I don't care. I don't really think you can do much of these movies that has not already been done. These are very old movies, so this is a case where I think that taking these films and putting them in the 4K UHD world with HDR10 and Dolby Vision, and possibly a DTS:X. Now, a DTS:X extreme sound would probably be the selling point if they did that, but in all likelihood they probably wouldn't. Just be an upgrade on the picture, which means it's not worth our time. Maybe if I do find out that it is, maybe I'll re-review them at some point, just not this year, maybe next year. Alright, well, overall quality, black and white movie. Well, although it being black and white does not mean you cannot enhance things, hence how I talked about Hitchcock's Psycho last year. The blacks are actually better in this. There's not so much static and strobeness. One thing about this film they always had was a lot of strobeness in the picture of the movie due to the technology they had at the time in 1931. That's all taken care of, and details are pretty sharp on this. So this really is a brilliant remaster of the old 1931 classic. Now let's go on to the audio side of things. They took the mono tracks and converted them into a mono dual track from the one track mono negative, and have it play back on a DTS HDMA 2.0. Now, what that pretty much means is you have mono sound just like you had with the original theatrical release, but it's done in with HD technology to let you have a cleaner, crisper sound of the mono experience that the film had. So don't expect a surround sound experience or anything like that, because they didn't have surround sound until in the 70s, and this is 1931. Now, my recommendation for the movie. Definitely worth checking out. All these are. I have a lot of love for these old movies. Now, to finish this off, I will be taking the snap case on top and showing off the beautiful artwork. Yeah, look at that. Wonderful artwork. Looking for one of the best scenes in the movie, in my opinion. Alright. Well, that's it for this review. I'll try to adjust the camera a little bit for the next one. And I'll see you guys next time for my review of 1931's Frankenstein. Until then.